So we're back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
And this time we're really...
we're going deep.
We'll go deep.
Deep.
This is a pretty big one.
Yeah. This is, we're getting into the meat of things.
Yeah, so we're diving into One Piece chapters, 69 through 95.
Big stretch.
It is a huge stretch.
It's a very meaty arc.
Yeah, and you guys chose these for us.
That's right.
And I think you chose, well, because...
Oh, it's fantastic.
It is fantastic, and it's a really important...
Transformative,
yeah, exactly.
moment for Nami.
Yes. So we're going to be looking at the complexities surrounding her relationship with the Arlong pirates.
Right, yeah.
And then, of course,
Really
Luffy and the Straw Hats arrive in Kokoyasi Village, and...
Things get crazy.
Things get crazy. Yeah, so betrayal, sacrifice, and the true meaning of Nakama.
Oh, yeah, big
all
stuff.
within this intense period, so...
Buckle up.
Buckle up, everybody, yeah.
Yeah, because there are a lot of twists and turns that I think we really need to unpack.
Right, and we start off right away with this sense of foreboding and uncertainty.
Yes.
Even before the crew sets foot on Kokoyasi Village, there's this groundwork that's being laid to question Nami's true loyalties.
Yeah.
So let's unpack that initial unease.
Okay.
So our dive begins with Yosaku. Yes. Do you remember Yosaku?
Yeah, how could we forget?
One of Luffy's initial allies.
Back in the day.
Yeah, he's delivering some serious warnings to Luffy and Sanji about the perils that await them on the Grand Line.
Big time.
And he mentioned some big players, right?
Oh, yeah.
7 Warlords of the Sea.
Dracula Mihawk.
Yeah,
you know.
And this fishman pirate named Jinbei.
Yes.
Okay, now here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Yosaku draws a direct line between Jinbei and Arlong.
Oh.
You know, the notorious fishman who wreaked havoc in the East Blue.
Right.
And he notes that Arlong was once Jinbei's most powerful lieutenant.
Yeah.
So this connection right here is what fuels Yosaku's suspicion about Nami. He tells Luffy and Sanji he's got this really strong feeling that Nami is somehow involved with Arlong.
Well, and that's not just a gut feeling, is it?
No, it's not.
I mean, there's tangible evidence here.
There is.
That he's basing these concerns on.
Yeah, like the fact that Nami has a copy of Arlong's wanted poster.
Right, and that in combination with what he perceives to be kind of her generally suspicious behavior.
Right.
You know, it's enough for him and Johnny to have already kind of pieced together a potential link.
Right.
And this is really cool, I think, too, because it creates this dramatic irony for us, the audience, who have traveled with Nami up to this point.
Right.
And so we have a very different perception of her.
We do.
Potentially than Yosaku and Johnny do.
Exactly. And then you have Sanji, you know, completely captivated by Nami.
Of course.
He's got that unwavering belief in the inherent goodness of beautiful women.
Right.
Loves the ladies.
Yeah, so he's very resistant to these warnings.
Right, he just doesn't want to believe it.
Right, you know.
And it immediately sets up this conflict. You know, you've got logical suspicion.
Right.
This is Sanji's heart ruling his head.
Okay.
And I think it's a really clever way to mirror the audience's potential internal debate.
Yes.
About Nami at this stage. You know, were we seeing her clearly all along?
I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
It makes us actively question our own initial assessments of her.
Right.
You know, we've seen her as this member of the Straw Hats.
Right.
You know, navigating all these dangers alongside them. And now we're presented with this completely different perspective.
Completely, yeah.
And that really forces us to examine our assumptions.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then, boom, we're suddenly plunged into Arlong Park.
Yes.
This intimidating stronghold of Arlong's fishman pirates.
Very intimidating.
And the very first thing we see is Arlong bribing a Marine officer.
Oh, yeah?
Named Nezumi.
Nezumi.
And right away you sense this deep corruption.
Yes.
I feel that.
Not just physical power, but also, like you said, corruption.
Yeah, it suggests that Arlong's power extends beyond brute force.
Mm-hmm.
And it hints at this more insidious network of control.
Right.
So what does this early reveal of corruption tell us about the challenges facing Kokoyasi Village?
Well, I think it shows that Arlong isn't just some isolated threat.
Okay.
Right? He's able to manipulate and influence the Marines.
Right.
Which are supposed to be the upholders of justice and order.
Yeah, right.
And so that really highlights the systemic issues at play.
Right.
And it underscores just how isolated and vulnerable Kokoyasi Village really is.
Yes.
It's not just about defeating this one powerful pirate.
Right.
It's about dismantling a whole structure of oppression.
Yeah. And just when we're processing that, we get hit with the real shocker.
Oh.
Nami is suddenly revealed as one of Arlong's top officers.
Yeah, what?
And Arlong himself declares that she's the only human he trusts.
Wow.
Talk about a narrative curveball.
Yeah, huge twist.
It completely flips our understanding of Nami.
It does.
And forces us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, was her time with the Straw Hats all an act?
Right, exactly.
What could her true motives possibly be?
I mean, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a masterstroke, I think, in storytelling.
It is.
Because it subverts expectations.
Totally.
And it casts this immediate doubt on her character.
It does.
And it compels us, the audience, right alongside Luffy and the others,
Right.
to unravel the mystery.
Yeah.
Behind her seemingly, sudden allegiance shift.
Yes, and we're left with that question, what assumptions were we making about her based on her appearance?
Right.
And initial interactions.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then while we're still reeling from that bombshell,
Right.
Zoro, Usopp, and Johnny
The gang's all here.
finally arrive at Arlong Park.
There they are.
And Zoro, being Zoro,
Of course.
eager for a fight,
Oh, yeah.
is ready to just charge right in.
As always.
Yeah, but Usopp and Johnny,
The voice of reason.
display a rare moment of foresight
Yes, they do.
and wisely tie him up
Smart move.
to prevent any rash actions while they try to locate the Going Merry.
Right. They got to find their ship.
Yeah. So their arrival kind of injects this new dynamic into the situation.
It does, because unlike Luffy and Sanji,
Yeah.
who at least had some vague warning
Right?
about, the potential danger and Nami's possible connection,
Right.
Zoro, Usopp, and Johnny are walking into this completely blind.
Blind. Yeah. So their initial encounters are going to really shape their understanding of the true threat and Nami's role within it.
Totally.
Yeah. So while they're searching for their ship, Usopp and Johnny stumble upon fishmen
Oh.
near a village that's been completely ravaged.
Oh, no.
And it's a brutal,
Yes.
visceral demonstration of the sheer power
Right.
and destructive capabilities of these fishmen.
Yeah, something that they haven't experienced directly yet.
Yeah, up to this point.
Yeah.
So how do you think witnessing this destruction firsthand
Mm-hmm.
impacts their perception of the situation?
Well, I think for Usopp and Johnny, this really serves as a stark awakening.
Okay.
It takes that threat from an abstract warning
Right.
to a terrifying reality.
Right.
It
It becomes real.
becomes real, yeah, and it underscores the danger that Arlong and his crew pose
Absolutely.
to the human inhabitants of this area.
Right.
And I think it also probably makes them even more concerned
Yeah.
about Zoro's impulsive nature.
Right. Like, oh man, he would have just run in there.
Yeah, exactly. We got to keep him tied up.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is serious.
Exactly. And then they encounter Nojiko
Yes.
and a young boy named Chabo.
Right?
And this interaction really starts to paint this grim picture
Hmm.
of the fear and oppression that the villagers live under daily.
Yeah, you can just see it in their reactions.
Yeah.
There's this feeling of resignation almost.
Yes.
To this hopeless fate.
Yeah. What stands out to you about this initial interaction?
Well, I think Chabo's story is particularly affecting,
It is.
despite his young age
Right.
and the tragic loss of his father.
Yeah.
There's this sense of acceptance
Yeah.
of their situation, almost
Yeah.
as if resistance is futile.
Yeah.
And I think that really highlights the profound psychological impact of Arlong's reign of terror.
Yes.
Yeah.
It shows how deeply it's affected them.
Yeah, the extent to which he has really broken their spirits.
Yeah. Yeah. And then another twist unfolds in this mystery.
Okay.
Usopp finally learns the truth from Nojiko
Oh, boy.
that she and Nami
What's the truth?
are adopted sisters.
Okay.
And the real gut punch,
Hit me with it.
Nami is indeed a member of Arlong's crew
What?
living in their shared childhood home.
Wow.
So what do you think Usopp's feeling at this moment?
I mean, I think he's feeling betrayed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He thought they were comrades, and now he finds out that she's been aligned with the pirates
Right?
who have been terrorizing her own people.
That doesn't make sense.
It's confusing.
Yeah. And he raises this crucial question. He's like,
Yeah.
why would she help save our village
Mm-hmm.
and seem genuinely happy amongst us
Right.
if she was secretly working with Arlong all along?
It throws a wrench in everything.
It does.
Yeah.
It throws everything we thought we understood about her into question.
Exactly. I think that's where those first cracks
Okay.
in the the simple narrative of betrayal start to appear.
Right.
Because Usopp's confusion highlights the complexity of her situation, right? Her past actions hint that there's something more going on here than meets the eye.
Yeah, and Nojiko's response is so firm. She's like, yeah, it's true.
But don't you dare.
But don't confront them.
Confront them.
Like, stay away from them.
Stay away.
So what does her warning reveal about the power dynamics at play?
Well, I think it really underscores the immense power that Arlong and his crew wield. Right. Or she understands the reality of their brutality. Yeah. And she's clearly terrified of the potential consequences.
Of stepping out of line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think her priority is protecting Usopp from harm. Yeah. Even if it means keeping him in the dark about the full situation.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Zoro, remember?
Yeah.
He's still conveniently tied up. He's brought to Arlong Park.
Oh, boy.
And he comes face to face with Arlong himself.
Here we go.
And there's this predictable clash of egos.
Right.
You know, Zoro calls Arlong a half-fish mutant.
Oh, my God.
Arlong boasts about the supposed superiority of fishmen. You know,
typical
bravado.
Yeah.
But then Nami appears. Solidifying her apparent alliance with the fishmen.
Yeah.
So this initial confrontation between Zoro and Nami with Arlong there is a key moment, I think.
It is.
Because Arlong deliberately introduces her as their indispensable cartographer, emphasizing her value to the crew.
Yeah.
And it hints at his larger ambitions, you know, beyond just controlling this one island.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
always to the point.
Always to the point.
Yeah.
Just simply asks Nami about her true self.
Who are you really?
Yeah.
Who are you really?
Yeah.
And her cold affirmation. You know, the simple,
chilling.
Confirming her allegiance to Arlong, followed by Arlong labeling her as this cold-blooded witch.
Oh, wow.
Motivated solely by money. You know, it's all designed to paint her as a complete antagonist.
It is.
But did you notice anything else in that exchange?
Well, I thought it was interesting how Nami didn't really react to Arlong's words.
That's right.
You know, she confirmed her allegiance.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really like a full embrace of his description.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's almost like...
And maybe she's playing a role.
Yes, exactly. And then Zoro does something completely unexpected.
What does he do?
He jumps into the pool.
Yeah, it's his totally impulsive action that comes out of nowhere.
Why would he do that?
Yeah, and even more surprising is that Nami immediately dives in and saves him.
Wow.
So this act directly contradicts her supposed loyalty to Arlong.
Right, if she's truly one of them, why would she risk her position to save Zoro?
Exactly. It's this pivotal moment, I think, that throws a wrench into this whole narrative of her betrayal.
Right.
It suggests that maybe her outward alignment with Arlong is a facade masking a more complex and likely altruistic agenda.
Right. So the question becomes, what is she really trying to accomplish?
Yeah. Exactly. And then we shift to Kokiasi Village.
Okay.
And we witness Arlong arriving, you know, inspecting for any hidden weapons. And it just really underscores his absolute control.
Total control.
Over the villagers, and that fear.
Yeah, palpable fear.
Permeates the entire community.
It's heavy.
So what does this scene tell us about the psychological impact of his rule?
Well, I think this scene really paints a vivid picture of that oppressive atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, they're constantly being watched.
Right.
Their every action dictated by fear.
Right.
And their lack of open defiance.
Yeah.
Despite, you know, obviously resenting Arlong.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes, I think.
Yes, it does.
About just how effective his control is.
Yeah. And then Nojiko explains the brutal reality.
Oh, yeah.
Of the tribute system.
The tribute.
And the fact that if a single villager fails to pay, it results in the destruction of the entire village.
The whole village. Oh, my God.
The stakes are so high.
That's intense.
It's so intense.
Yeah.
It highlights their powerlessness.
Complete powerlessness.
Yeah. And the immense pressure that Nami must be under.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of weight on her shoulders.
Wow, yeah.
To carry the burden of an entire village.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, this tribute system.
It's so messed up.
It is. But it's also brilliant in a way.
It is a brilliant form of control. Yeah, it's cruel.
Cruel, but effective.
Yeah, very effective.
Yeah.
You know, it ensures this constant flow of wealth to Arlong.
Right.
But it also fosters this collective fear
Yeah.
and a responsibility among the villagers.
Yeah.
Which makes rebellion almost impossible.
It does, yeah.
To even think about.
And then Genzo is discovered hiding weapons.
Oh.
A clear violation of Arlong's dictates.
He's not going to like that.
No. And Arlong threatens a public execution.
Oh, no.
Using Genzo as this terrifying example of human inferiority.
Wow.
And it's just this really cruel and calculated display of power.
Absolutely.
So how does this moment contribute to our understanding of Arlong's character?
Well, I think this scene reveals the depths of his cruelty.
Okay.
And his truly like a deep-seated belief in fishman superiority.
Right.
You know, this planned execution.
Yeah.
It's not just about punishment.
Right.
It's about instilling terror.
Yes.
And reinforcing his dominance through fear and humiliation.
Yes. Yes. And amidst all this tension, we get this moment of completely unexpected defiance from Usopp. Yeah.
Mr. Brave.
Yeah, it's fear-driven.
Of course.
But he delivers this ridiculous bluff.
That's him.
About commanding 8,000 killers.
8,000?
Yeah.
That's a lot of killers.
Ready to descend upon Arlong Park.
Wow.
And it's almost comical.
It is kind of funny.
But in that desperate situation, it's also this flicker of resistance against Arlong's tyranny.
Right.
And then, of course, his panicked escape attempt just adds to the absurdity.
Oh, yeah. Classic Usopp.
So what do you make of his unlikely act of defiance?
Well, I think despite its obvious, falsehood, I think it represents this spark of human resilience.
Yeah, okay.
You know, this refusal to be completely crushed.
Yeah.
Even if the attempt is clumsy and born out of terror.
Yeah.
It's also just a moment of levity.
It is.
Which we need.
We need that.
In this heavy situation.
Yeah. Yeah, and after all that drama, Arlong departs.
He's gone.
And we see Nami secretly meeting with Nojiko.
Secretly.
Yeah, at Belmare's grave.
Okay.
And this is the pivotal moment.
It is.
The turning point where the truth begins to emerge.
Right.
She reveals to Nojiko that she only needs 7 million belly more.
Okay.
To finally buy the village's freedom.
Wow.
So how does this secret reveal of the story recontextualize everything we've seen of Nami's actions up to this point?
Well, I think it completely reframes her seemingly treacherous behavior.
Right.
Being an officer in Arlong's crew, it wasn't about personal gain or genuine allegiance. It was this long and desperate, incredibly courageous sacrifice that she's been making for her village this whole time.
It adds so much depth.
It does.
To her character. Yeah, it's like this massive weight is lifted, and her actions take on this whole new meaning.
Suddenly she's not a villain.
No.
She's a hero.
Yeah.
Enduring
unimaginable hardship for the sake of her home and her sister.
And I think that secret agreement with Arlong becomes the key to understanding her actions.
Right.
She's playing this incredibly dangerous game.
Yeah.
Enduring his cruelty, maintaining this false facade, all for this ultimate goal of freedom for her village.
Meanwhile, back at Arlong Park, Zoro, remember, who was freed by Nami, has apparently taken down
all of them,
all the fishmen there.
What?
While waiting for Arlong to return.
He's just that good.
I know.
Wow.
Talk about efficient use of downtime.
That's Zoro for you.
So what does this display of strength tell us?
Well, it shows us Zoro's just immense power
Yeah.
and his dedication. I mean, even weakened.
Right.
And having been a prisoner,
Right.
he's still a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
You know, it's a reminder of the strength that the Straw Hats possess,
Yes.
even when they're not all together.
Yeah.
It also, I think, shows us that they might have a chance,
Right.
you know, against Arlong's crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
No, it's not.
Ah.
But they have a chance.
Yeah. And then we have Luffy, Sanji, and Yasaku having this bizarre encounter with Momu. That massive sea creature.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole sequence is almost comical.
It is.
You know, Luffy casually punches him into submission.
Right.
Sanji tries to reason with him.
Hey, come on, man.
I know. And then resorts to his kicks.
Classic.
And then they just have lunch right there.
Just another day.
I know. It's this strange blend of peril and nonchalance.
Right.
That's so characteristic of them.
That's the Straw Hats.
Yeah. So what does this interlude contribute to the narrative, do you think?
Well, I think it reinforces the strange and dangerous world that they're navigating.
Okay.
But it also highlights their strength.
Yeah. And their absurd confidence almost.
It's absurd, but it's great.
In the face of even the most enormous threats.
Right.
You know, it's a reminder of their dynamic.
Yes.
Before they enter this really intense situation.
Exactly. And all of this is happening as Zorro, having dealt with the fishmen at Arlong Park, is making his way towards Kokiasi Village. Yeah. And Arlong is returning.
Oh boy, here we go.
To find his crew utterly defeated.
Yeah. Things are coming to a head.
Yes. So the stage is really being set for this major clash.
Yeah, the tension is building.
So Arlong puts the pieces together and realizes that Zorro was their captive.
Right.
And likely responsible for what happened to his crew.
Oh.
And then he uses Usopp's capture as bait.
Oh, no.
And this leads to this incredibly tense scene.
Okay.
Where Nami seemingly attacks Usopp.
What?
Brutally.
No.
In front of Arlong and his men.
Wow.
So what's the significance of this performance, do you think?
Well, I think it's all about deception, right? It's this carefully orchestrated performance to solidify her position within Arlong's crew and eliminate any suspicion about her loyalty.
Yes.
You know, it's a necessary but painful step in her plan to protect the village.
It's agonizing to watch.
It is.
Because from Arlong's perspective, it looks totally genuine.
Right. He's buying it.
But we, the audience.
Yeah.
And eventually Usopp come to understand that it was all an act.
Right.
And Johnny, witnessing this apparent betrayal, unaware of the truth, just adds so much to the dramatic tension.
Yeah, poor Johnny.
I know.
He doesn't know what's going on.
No, and so his misinterpretation of what's happening is going to have these immediate consequences on how the arriving Straw Hats perceive the situation.
Yeah, they're going to get the wrong idea.
And then the Straw Hats arrive at Arlong Park.
Finally.
In their typically unconventional style.
Of course.
With Momu inadvertently launching Luffy and Sanji high into the air. Yeah, it's this grand entrance.
That's one way to make an entrance.
I know. So how does their arrival shift the dynamic?
Well, I think it injects this element of hope into this really, desperate situation. The villagers have been suffering under Arlong's rule for so long.
Yeah.
And the arrival of the Straw Hats signals that Nami is not alone.
Right.
And that a powerful force has come to challenge Arlong.
Yeah, they're the cavalry.
They are.
In their own unique way.
Right.
And poor Johnny, still convinced of Nami's treachery, tells Zorro that she killed Usopp.
Oh.
What?
I know. Oh, no.
Can you imagine the shock and rage?
I can't even imagine.
Zorro must be feeling.
Zorro.
All based on this misinterpretation of events. And then just when you think it couldn't get any more complicated.
Oh, boy.
Commodore Pudding Pudding. And his Marines arrive.
Here comes the Marines.
Offering this glimmer of hope
for
the oppressed villagers. But then Arlong just destroys their ship.
Oh, no.
So quickly and brutally.
Wow.
And it just showcases the overwhelming power the Straw Hats are up against.
Right. And the isolation.
Of
the village.
Kokoyasi Village, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's coming to help them.
Nobody's coming to help.
Yeah.
So what does this display of force emphasize?
Well, I think it really emphasizes the power that Arlong has.
Right.
And the futility of relying on, the conventional authorities.
Right.
For help.